lives are constantly bombarded with distractions. In fact, only 15% of you will watch this video till the end because of yet another distraction. With social media, television, and OTT, our minds are always wandering away from the present. With the advent of short form content, constant phone notifications, we are always distracted. When we sit to eat, we turn on Netflix. And when Netflix is on, we reach for our phone and inevitably scroll Instagram. So now we work in between distractions. This unfortunately has a very bad long-term impact on our goal fulfillment. Just like it is too late for a frog to jump out of boiling water, by the time we understand what is happening to us, it's too late to change our habits. And to be honest, I'm also a victim of the same. So I decided to help myself and all of you out there with ways to recover your attention span and bring back our focus. So I decided to dig through articles, HBR research, books, and I've consolidated whatever I could find into a very simple structure for all of us to understand. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and take a look at my other videos. To bring a skeletal structure into the discussion, I've divided what I call a 2x2 matrix. Everything that I think about, I usually put it into a 2x2 matrix. Just simplifies everything. For this purpose, I have created a grid in which there's a y-axis and an x-axis. So the x-axis speaks about whether the changes are internal or external in your surroundings, and the y-axis talks about how soon you can implement them. Is it immediate or is it going to take some time? So we will evaluate what each of these boxes have and what we can do in each of these corners. So we'll talk about the easiest box first. The closest is what you can do externally and immediately. So in this box, there are 3 things that you can implement. So the first thing is setting up an environment that creates a boundary to keep distractions away. So when J.K. Rowling was writing the Harry Potter series, towards the end of the series, she could not concentrate at her home because there were her children, home deliveries, etc. And there were constant disturbances during the day. So what she did is that she took a break for 30-40 days and she checked herself into a very luxurious hotel where everything would be available for her and she didn't have to do anything without any distraction. So in those few days, she actually completed the whole book in peace. Essentially, we of course don't want to spend so much money on going to a secluded place or the beach, etc. But of course, how you can do it is setting up your happy place at home. If you're a student, get yourself a corner, buy a table, get a wall holder in front, print out really fancy looking schedules, put photos, buy stationery that you really like and make it a very attractive and happy place. So you can actually keep your phones in another room and then come to your desk and work there in peace. Similarly, if you're somebody who goes to office and you need a space after coming back from office, you need your peace and quiet for 30 minutes, you want to do some work, create that solitary space for you in which nobody else can enter during your focus 30 minutes. The second thing is making sure that you focus on one task, say in a given time duration. So it could be a day, a week, a month. The shift of mind space, energy, and the process involves makes it very difficult for the human brain to adapt quickly. When you jump from one task to another, you can only achieve superficial goals. But when you are boring and you keep only one goal in mind, you can really go in depth. You keep one goal in mind and when you continuously work on it, your mind expands, you think of new ways to do it. So when you're working at one problem for a lot of time, suddenly you realize that instead of 3 ways of looking at the problem, now you're looking at 10 ways to solve the problem. This happens because you've been doing that one thing for quite a long time. So make sure that you're focusing on one major goal at a time. However, most of us have 9-to-5 jobs similar to mine. So during the day when I'm working for my office, I have to do a lot of Excel work, a lot of presentation, go going through a lot of dashboards. But however, in the evenings and late nights when I'm writing script or I'm shooting, it's a complete shift of energy. So most of us don't have a luxury of doing one thing all day. So the next best option is to slot our times during the day. So essentially, we know when we are going to do it. So that brings us to the concept of time blocking. Time blocking is an extremely effective method of making sure that the task continuity remains in perpetuity. So instead of me thinking that every day I'm doing so many things, I now have a scheduled slot for that. Example, in the morning at 7 o'clock, if I decide to exercise and every day I decide to work out at 7 o'clock in the morning, I know that my task continuity remains. So wherever I stop on the previous day at 7:45, I pick up from there again next day 7 o'clock. So along the same train of thought, it is best to schedule your breaks during the day. So when you're time blocking for all your activities, you must keep a break between them, because like I said, it's very difficult to shift between two different tasks quickly. So if you are doing some office work, say till 7 p.m. in the evening, and then you want to move to another task, schedule a break of 40 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you think is relevant, and make sure that you utilize it. This ensures that you necessarily have to put your task aside for some hours of the day, because we all know that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. For the next segment, that is for immediate and internal, you need to put some thought that can be executed immediately. The first one is train your mind. To do that, first select a task which will measure your progress. I have some trouble sleeping at night. So what I have decided to do is read a book every day before dozing off. So I've selected reading a book as my measure of progress. Ideally, I can start from reading one page and then see to how many pages I can move up to. I should be able to increase the number of pages every week. So as long as my input metric or my lead metric is on point, I should be doing fine. Similarly, while I have selected the number of pages as my metric, you can select time. You can check what you can do for a period of 10 minutes without getting distracted. You can select anything from cleaning your cupboard to folding your clothes to writing something, but keep a timer of 10 minutes and then gradually move it up to 25, 35, 55 to whatever time you are comfortable. Of course, this will take some months, but you will be able to execute this immediately and start on it. The second thing is develop rituals. The important part of having focused time is being able to move smoothly or transitioning smoothly from one activity to another. What happens is that we get highly distracted when we are moving from one task to another, and that is where a ritual truly helps. To give an example, every Sunday in the morning, I read the newspaper, but I cannot do it without my cup of hot lemon water. I sip the warm water and read the newspaper with full focus. So there are several micro associations which can assist you with better focus. Another example of my ritual is having warm milk with nutmeg at night while reading the book. So like I said previously, I decided to increase my focus while reading a book. But of course, that is better for me. It works out better for me when I'm having milk. So another example could be when you're done for the day and you truly need to plug out, take your laptop, fold it, put a piece of cloth on it, take out, open a drawer, put your laptop inside and then close the drawer. This whole ritual essentially signals to your brain that you no longer need to take out your laptop, you are done for the day. This elaborate method makes sure that you will not go back to your previous activity. Your mind is closed and shut out from it. The third quick thing that you can do is tailor your social media engagement for only your benefit. If you take notes on your time wasted during the day, I am very sure you'll find that 90% of that time has gone into YouTube or Instagram. And believe me, I am also guilty of the same at times. You may have come to the platform for something specific and then you realize that the platform has been guiding and leading you into an eternal scrolling, which is now of course course known as doom scrolling. And this is something that we have to actively train our mind not to do. So what I would suggest is pick out your top 5-10 creators, mark when they post their videos, and then spend a few hours on those videos. So now you know how many hours, how many minutes you are going to spend on YouTube. For example, if I like a particular creator on YouTube, I know the person is going to release a video on YouTube at 12 p.m. every Sunday. So that is part of my Sunday ritual, that okay, before taking a bath I would watch the video, and and the rest of the week I don't want to go onto YouTube, and if I do, it will be for something specific that I'm researching about. And for the rest of the leisure time, make sure that you pick something productive. It could be anything, but it should require your active effort. What social media does is it requires passive effort, which means no effort at all. So pick anything which requires active effort and requires you to move your hands, legs, or engage your mind. So it could be playing ukulele, do crosswords, go play badminton, start painting, pick up a choreography that you think is fun, but try and make sure that you engage in really good quality leisure time hobbies. The last section is internal and gradual. And I would like to take the liberty to say that this is the most difficult part that all of us grapple with, but in the long run, this one really gives a lot of compounding effect. First component of this is accepting that boring is fine. In fact, I would say it's perfect. Both efficiency and effectiveness come from being boring. It means that you have to be consistent every day in what you are doing. Unless you do a repetitive task, you never get better at it. If you have made a schedule, it's a question of following through. So for me, I get a small dopamine hit when I make a list and I cross out whatever I have completed. So that is my way of typically making sure that I have a time blocking method on a piece of paper, and then everything, whenever it's done, I tick it off. So that gives me a bit of happiness. So you will have to figure out your dopamine method. The first day you read a book, you'll get an itch to keep the book aside and start scrolling. But it's how much self-control you show that will determine your consistency in the long run. It's a question of just overcoming that impulsive need to see social media just for 5 seconds. Count down from 5 to 0 and you will be able to get back to your book. You'll realize that after a few days, not only are you enjoying reading the book, you might as well pick up a pen, start underlining the important lines, learn new words, and start taking notes. Similarly, if you decided to wake up early in the morning, you'll realize that initial maybe 1 month you will need an alarm to get up, but then without even an alarm, you'll be waking up. And you'll be surprised that you'll be waking up fresh and really enthusiastic to start your day early. This, of course, brings us to a very important point of learning to say no. So if you have your schedule and you know what you want to do, and you can be boring for excellence, you need to be able to say no. No to late night parties, no to unnecessary gatherings, no to a lot of temptations. If you want to save money, no to impulsive online purchases. A lot of things that you have to say no to, and you have to be comfortable with saying no. So our parents don't typically teach us how to say no. It's something that we have to learn when we are adults, and this is very critical to understand. So of course, whenever you're saying no to somebody, give them a proper reason, and I'm sure the person in front will understand. The next actionable on the list is meditation. For youngsters out there, this might sound that oh, it's for old folks only, but it's not. If you try today, you can try it in the morning, in the middle of the day, at night, anytime. You'll get an immediate effect of calmness in your mind. Of course, it's difficult to just suppress your thoughts or not start thinking about something when you have closed your eyes, but gradually it would happen. But even with just deep breathing, if you start with deep breathing, immediately you'll feel good. And of course, over a time period, you'll see the effects. You'll understand that if you meditate in in the morning, throughout the day you will be able to remain calm. And that really helps with anxiety, with any stress that an external situation is bringing to you. And in the long run, you will be able to take decisions better, because now when your panic is not getting triggered, or you're not feeling the stress, you will be able to take clearer decisions in your life. And the last one is again something that needs to be long term, and you need to reflect a lot during the process, is journaling. Of course, not all of us can afford therapy. What journaling does is stop us from dumping our thoughts onto our loved ones. That was on a lighter note. But yes, what journaling truly helps with is evaluating ourselves and pouring our hearts out on a piece of paper, because that is not judging us. So it's always great to put down your thoughts at the end of the day, how you've progressed, what are your plans for tomorrow, or you could just discuss an incident in your journal. But if you pen down something, thoughts become clearer, you can evaluate yourself better, you know where you stand, and over a period of time you get more clarity in your work, in your focus areas. Start on a journey of self-discovery. To be honest, maintaining a journal is so tough, but it's worth it. So now you know how you can have your 2x2 matrix for getting your attention and your focus back. So that's it for today. I'll see you next week.